MAYER's multimedia learning theory facilitates learner engagement. It makes it easier to anchor and slow down the curve of forgetting. MAYER's 12 principles make it possible to organize content, to optimize mental constructions while reducing learning effort. The different elements of a message must be aligned and coherent with each other. This means that they must all work towards the same intention and the same goal. Materials should also be presented clearly and concisely, so that the audience can easily understand and digest them. The elements must be clear and readable to allow users to understand what is expected of them. They should also be well organized and easy to find to help with content navigation. Personally, I work on the possibility of implementing color codes and visual elements in each project. The user can thus identify content without even reading it, one of the most important principles in my opinion. According to this principle, users should not have to search too long or too actively for the information they are looking for. Relevant elements should be repeated clearly and concisely in several places, so that users can easily locate and remember them. We can thus think of anchoring strategies that can join that of feedback in evaluations. This is the fundamental principle of multimedia content production. Visual elements should not be cut or overlapped, but should follow a logical trajectory in space. This principle applies to all types of media content, including images, videos, animations, and text. To help me with this principle, I work a lot on visual mechanics with Z-reading and the golden ratio with the rule of thirds. Content must be delivered at a sustained and consistent pace so that users know when to connect to the training platform to see what's new in their course and familiarize themselves with the latest content posted online. This is a recurring principle in MOOCs, which very often opens the modules in a calendar logic. Content is broken down into small segments that the user can easily digest. In my practice, I talk about learning grains. The grains can then form sequences, the sequences of the modules. It is also possible to integrate buttons or links to navigate from one content to another. The learning path must provide learners with a certain amount of information before giving them access to multimedia content, which is then better used. This will be a major point for evaluations. This principle can be applied to the course itself. A major factor in learner rejection is often linked to the fact that we forget to train them in the use of the training platform or how to manipulate its content. Multimedia content must be presented in such a way that the learner can easily navigate and understand its overall meaning. It is important that the content is organized in such a way that it can be browsed logically and that the different parts are clearly identifiable. With the right level of interactivity, our goal is to allow users to control the order and pace of viewing media content so they can learn better. To produce effective multimedia content, it is important to take into account the needs and objectives of learners. It is also important to structure content so that it is easy to digest and to select media based on their ability to communicate the message effectively. We then understand the importance of the analysis stage to work on what we call the third level of educational alignment. The media level, from the media to the medium, contributes to the development of engaging content that is easy for learners to remember. The key design principles are the use of bright colors, simple and explicit images, concise storytelling, and high contrast. With voiceover or narrated, learners are naturally drawn to stories. It is therefore a question of providing learners with a complete and coherent story by integrating multimedia elements such as images, videos, or sounds. The voice, with its timbre, its rhythm, or even its flow, will be the signature of your learning content. MAYER's principles aim to produce effective multimedia content that promotes learning and knowledge retention. These principles are based on the work of cognitive load theory, a learning theory that posits that the brain has a limited capacity to process information. By applying MAYER's principles, content designers can then create resources that minimize the learning effort required to learn and retain information without reducing cognitive load. The principles documented by MAYER thus aim for three major objectives: improve the encoding of learning, generate mental constructions, and optimize the cognitive load of the content. These principles must therefore be taken into consideration both for the design with the writing of content and their scripting, as well as the development of the content to be publicized.